Hello and welcome to lesson 5.2. We're going to be talking about simple genetics today. Our lesson objectives include defining important terminology associated with the Punnett squares, solving Punnett squares, and then discussing the possibilities of the offspring of those Punnett squares. All right, so a Punnett square is a graphical representation of the possible outcomes of an offspring. That is the result of a particular breeding event, okay? So essentially what it's telling us is all the possibilities that two parents may produce in their offspring. So we're going to move over to the definitions that should be on the right-hand side of your notes. Genotype. This is the combination of alleles for a particular gene. Genotype tells us the genes, and so I always think of genes equal letters. Okay, when we talk about DNA and the genes, we talk about like A, T, C, G. We talk about the letters. So genotype, letters, alleles. Phenotype is the physical appearance of the genotype. So pheno, physical. All right, so the phenotype is the physical appearance. Dominant allele show their effect even if only one is present. Okay, dominant means that it is stronger than or the strongest. So as long as you have one dominant allele present, that is the trait that you are going to see. Recessive alleles only show their effect if it is paired with an identical recessive allele. Okay, because again, if there's a dominant one present, the recessive doesn't count because the dominant dominates that trait. So you have to have two recessive alleles in order for that recessive trait to be shown. All right, homozygous. Homo means same. So this is when the alleles for a trait are the same. And that means either both uppercase or both lowercase. Heterozygous. Hetero means different. So this is when the alleles for a trait are different. And by different, I don't mean different letters. I mean different sizes. So dominant, recessive, big, little. All right, we're going to go through practice problem that is on your notes. Okay, so we're going to fill in the Punnett square boxes. To do that, we're going to start at the top. I've got a dominant B, so big B. I'm going to follow that down. So I've already added in my first B, and then I'm going to add it below that. Okay, I'm going to go to the next big B, put that in the box below, and the box below that. Now I'm going to move to the left-hand side. My lowercase b there is going to go to the boxes to the right. Okay, follow the arrows. So I've got a little b there and a little b. And then my last big B, same thing. They're going to fill into the right. There we go. All right, so now we have all of our possible alleles in there. We're going to be talking percentages. So we need to know what percentages each box represents. So if 4 boxes make the whole, then dividing 100%, which is the whole, by 4 gives us 25%. So each box is going to represent 25%. Okay. All right, so now we want to ask the questions. What are the possible genotypes from this cross? Remember, the genotype equals the letter combinations. So I'm not going to write out every single one. I'm going to look for any that are different, okay? So I have a big B, and a big B, little b. When you are writing these allele combinations, always put your uppercase letter first, okay? All right, second question, what are the possible phenotypes from this cross? So now I have to ask myself, if I have big B, what is that going to look like? So I've got dominant and dominant. So obviously it's going to be my dominant color, which if I read the scenario there, blue skin is dominant, okay? So big B would be blue, but big B, little b is also going to be blue because there's a dominant allele present there as well. So I only have one possible phenotype from this. Okay, so my physical appearance is going to be blue skin. All right, what percent could be purple? Well, in order to be purple, okay, purple is recessive, so that means I'm looking for little b, If I look at my combinations here, I don't have not a single one. So that means I have 0% chance of having purple-skinned offspring. All right, so what percent would be blue? Well, we already said that's our only phenotype. So that means that is 100%. All of our offspring are going to be blue. Okay, now we want to ask what percent would be heterozygous. Again, hetero means different. So we're looking for how many are going to have that different combination of dominant and recessive. So big B and little b. I have 2 of my 4 boxes. So each one represents 25%. So 25 plus 25 gives me 50%. So half of my offspring are going to be heterozygous blue skin. All right, to sum it up, dominant alleles are expressed over recessive alleles. Okay, if a dominant allele is present, that is what you will see. It is not a combination. At this point, guys, we're talking simple genetics. Dominant rules. Okay, the genotype is the alleles, and the phenotype is how it looks. All right, that about wraps us up. Head back to Canvas, work on those assignments for 5.2, and I'll catch you guys later.